Hey everyone, and welcome back to Last Living Prepper, where we explore the skills and knowledge to thrive in any situation. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Today, we're diving deep into a critical aspect of survival, cooking indoors and outdoors when the grid goes down. The first 9 methods will be referring to cooking indoors, and the next 8 will be discussing cooking outdoors. We'll be exploring 17 different methods, from makeshift solutions to more advanced setups. Safety is paramount, so always exercise caution and follow best practices when dealing with fire or alternative cooking methods. Always keep a fire extinguisher and fire blanket as well as carbon monoxide detector around. More about fire extinguishers and fire blankets you can find in our previous video about 12 essential items you need at home when SHTF. If you run out of fuel, it is wise to have multiple ways to cook during a power outage. For example, a propane camping stove that can be used indoors and a small wood stove that you can use outdoors if you run out of propane. Always have a backup fuel, whether it is solid fuel such as charcoal and wood or liquid petroleum gas such as propane and butane, so in time of need you can use it. Another thing worth mentioning is not to cook with over-treated wood, particularly meat. Scavenging debris and using it as firewood poses serious risk to your health due to pollutants present in the smoke. And remember, practice makes perfect. So practice your chosen method of emergency cooking before you need it. Let's get started. The first on our list is gas camping stoves, which run on canisters of butane, propane, or isobutene. Some can even use multiple types of fuel, like unleaded gasoline in a pinch. For long-term preparedness, you'll want a camping stove that connects to large propane tanks. You'll blow through small canisters quickly if you need to cook things like dry beans or boil drinking water. When it comes down to storing conditions, butane slows down vaporization at 31.28 Fahrenheit, which is minus 0.4 degrees Celsius, so conditions lower than 32 Fahrenheit can make it unusable. While butane rarely freezes during winter, it can become ineffective due to lowered vaporization levels in very cold weather. Keep in mind that fuel familiar to many outdoor enthusiasts, gas camping stoves are also handy indoors during an outage. They're easy to use and provide quick, controlled heat for cooking. Keep a spare propane canister on hand. Canisters usually contain both butane and propane, with propane continuing to vaporize in lower temperatures, but burning off at sub-freezing conditions. So if you're using a butane-based stove in winter, ensure the temperature doesn't drop below its freezing point for optimal performance. Always be cautious. Using a hydrocarbon fuel camp stove, butane, propane, etc. indoors is not recommended by the manufacturers and can be dangerous because these fuels always emit carbon monoxide as they burn. Carbon monoxide is odorless and tasteless, but can kill quickly. If you want to use one of these stoves, you should have the following nearby: fire extinguishers and battery-powered carbon monoxide detector. These stoves should only be used in a well-ventilated area, near a window if possible. Remember, they are intended to be used outdoors. Another gas stove which you can use during the grid downtime is the MSR stove in multi-fuel version. It burns white gas, kerosene, and unleaded auto fuel, making it suitable for various environments and fuel availability. Next one is alcohol stove. Alcohol is a great fuel for stoves because it burns very cleanly. However, cooking with alcohol can be a bit tricky because it is hard to control the heat. Many people, when they learn how to use it, prefer alcohol stoves over gas stoves. Which alcohol can you use in an alcohol stove? Denatured alcohol, pure methanol alcohol, pure ethanol, and alcohol, Everclear, all work. You can even use some fuel line antifreeze, such as the Heat brand in a yellow bottle, as it is made from pure methanol alcohol. Rubbing alcohol, isopropanol, works but doesn't burn cleanly. That's why you should only use that one outdoors. Canned heat. Also known as sterno or gelled fuel, canned heat is made from alcohol turned into a jelly. Like an alcohol stove, it is hard to control the flame and heat. The alcohol stoves over canned heat because it is cheaper and has other uses. However, canned heat won't evaporate as alcohol will, so it is easier to store long-term. Remember to use them in well-ventilated areas. Another option is wood stove. A wood stove is a reliable workhorse for cooking and heating. It's efficient and can handle large cooking tasks. If you choose cooking on the wood stove, you'll need to do some serious planning. You need to install a flue, make sure it is regularly cleaned, and have a wood supply on hand. Please don't use a portable wood stove indoors without proper venting, a door that seals shut. Compulsory is a carbon monoxide detector. Make sure your wood stove is properly installed and maintained. Wood fireplace. You can cook over a wood fireplace just like our ancestors used to do in the past. For this method, you'll need some fireplace cooking tools, like a spit, gridiron, and trivet. If you want to roast something directly over the fire, you'll need a dripping pan. Otherwise, the burning grease will create nasty fumes. Never cook over a gas fireplace. There is a considerable risk of carbon monoxide poisoning if you open the glass doors. Likewise, you can ruin the fireplace if food drips on the logs of vents. With careful preparation and the right tools, you can grill, roast, and even bake using the heat from your fireplace. Now we have the combination gas-electricity cookers. These versatile cookers offer the best of both worlds. Many people have these stove cooktops, which are half electric and half gas. This way, they can cook regardless of whether there is a gas or electric outage. If you live somewhere with frequent power outages, this might be worth considering. Make sure you have a stock of both fuel types to maximize their use. Tea light oven, also known as the home emergency radiant cooking oven. A tea light oven works on tea lights. By itself, a tea light won't provide enough heat to boil water or fry foods. However, if you put an enclosed pot on top of some tea lights, the pot will trap heat and slowly cook the food inside. It can take more than 8 hours, but you can make a mean mac and cheese or pot of stew on the tea light oven. If you don't want to buy a home emergency radiant cooking oven, you can easily make your own. It's best to have something around the tea lights such as a metal long and round cutlery holder or a tin to help trap the heat and channel it against the bottom of the pan. In this part, we are going to discuss tuna can and toilet paper stove. The stove also serves as a great emergency light source and emergency heat source. Now let's explain how it works. Open a can of tuna in oil. It would work with something else oily too. Take 3 pieces of toilet paper and place them flat over the tuna. They will absorb the oil. The toilet paper should create an airtight seal around the lid of the can. Set the toilet paper on fire. It will burn for a long time, up to 25 minutes. Use the flame for cooking food. The flame will also cook the tuna inside the can. Just remove the toilet paper and enjoy your hot tuna. You'll need a pot stand since putting the pot directly on the can will extinguish the flame. Now we have buddy burner. A buddy burner works similarly to the tuna can stove, which we have just discussed. To make one, you need to get an empty tuna can. Cut cardboard into strips that are slightly thinner than the height of the tuna can. You should cut across the corrugated part so the holes are exposed on the sides. Roll up strips of cardboard tightly and fit them inside the tuna can. Using a double boiler, melt wax. Old crayons or candles will work as the wax as well. Some people are using butter instead of wax. As a safety note, never try to melt wax over a direct flame because it easily catches fire. Pour the melted wax over the cardboard. Fill the holes in the cardboard but leave a bit of the cardboard roll exposed to serve as the wick. Once the wax hardens, you can light the buddy burner. You can stick a small piece of cardboard inside to serve as a wick and make lighting it easier if you wish. In this part, we will be talking about haybox oven. This ingenious method utilizes retained heat to cook food. To use this method, you first have to heat your pot of food, which can be done outdoors on a fire. Next, you place it in the haybox oven. Surround the pot with hay. Close the box lid and wait 8-12 hours for the food to be done. The haybox traps thermal heat and uses it to finish the cooking process. It is great for food, which needs to be simmered for a long time, such as stews and beans. There are 2 benefits to using this method. You don't have to stay outside in the cold while waiting for your food to cook completely. The other one is you'll use less fuel with this method. To make a DIY haybox, you need a box that is insulated. You'll also need some additional insulation to put on top of the box. A cardboard box lined with aluminum foil and old sweaters works well. A pot of partially cooked food is nestled in a well-insulated container filled with hay. The hay traps the heat, allowing the food to slowly cook over several hours. Another option worth considering is portable power stations. Unlike generators, portable power stations can be safely used indoors. They don't use gas or diesel. Instead, you pre-charge the battery by plugging it into a wall outlet, or you can charge them with solar panels. Unfortunately, most portable power stations are expensive. They usually aren't designed to power high-power appliances like electric hot plates either. However, some portable power stations are large enough for cooking. If you can afford it and some solar panels, these are great all-around solutions for power outage preparedness. These powerhouses can keep your essential appliances running, including your electric cooktop or microwave. Make sure you have a power station with sufficient capacity for your needs and keep it charged. Barbecue grill opens our list of outdoor cooking methods. Your Trust barbecue grill isn't just for summer cookouts. It can be a valuable asset during power outages, providing a reliable platform for grilling, smoking, and even roasting. Barbecue grill, it's only safe if you cook outdoors. Why? Because barbecue grills, especially charcoal grills, emit huge amounts of carbon monoxide. Never use one indoors. Don't even use one in a semi-enclosed place like a garage or patio. In this part, we are going to discuss portable wood stove. Many modern portable wood stoves have smart designs that trap heat and make an intense flame without much wood. The pot stand is built into the design, so they are easier to cook with than on an open fire. There's even one that converts the energy from the fire into power for charging your USB devices. These compact stoves are designed for portability and efficiency. They burn wood cleanly and provide ample heat for cooking. Always use them outdoors or in well-ventilated areas to avoid carbon monoxide buildup. Next is open fire. Cooking on an open fire looks simple but is not that easy. You will need to have a lot of wood. You should let the wood burn down to coals and cook over those. It takes some skill to cook on an open flame since the flame blows around and varies in height. Don't be surprised if your pot of rice burns to the bottom. The next issue with open fire cooking is where you will put your pot or pan. The easiest option is to use a BBQ grill rack. If you don't have one, you can create a stand out of sticks over the fire, then hang a pot from the stand. Cooking over an open fire is a primal skill, connecting us to our ancestors. Mastering this method requires practice and vigilance. Always choose a safe location, clear the area of flammable materials, and never leave a fire unattended. Hobo Stove. If you don't want to buy a portable wood stove, you can make your own Hobo Stove. It's a very basic and straightforward stove made from tin cans and fueled by sticks, twigs, etc. This is not the most efficient cooker, but this design can be made from supplies that most people have to hand. The basic design can also be modified. Another method is solar cooking. A solar cooker is a box that captures heat from the sun and uses it to cook food inside of it. You can easily buy one, which will do a good job of intensifying the sun with shiny surfaces, or make it yourself. In order to make your own solar cooker, prepare the cardboard box with a lid and 3 sides, like a pizza box. Next, line the inside of the box with black construction paper to absorb heat, and cover the flap with aluminum foil to reflect sunlight. Open the flap and cover the opening with a double layer of plastic wrap or a single layer of plexiglass. Prop open the flaps using skewers. Adjust their angles to maximize sunlight exposure. Lay a glass or heat-resistant material on the insulation inside the box. Cover the flaps with aluminum tape to enhance reflection. Place it in direct sunlight. Try out with different foods. They are eco-friendly and ideal for sunny climates. Experiment with different solar oven designs for optimal results. Reflector Oven. A reflector oven is a box with metal inside of it. There is a shelf in the middle for supporting the food. It works by using radiant energy from the campfire to bake food inside of it. You will need to make a big fire to bake in a reflector oven, and the heat source will need to be consistent. It's excellent for baking breads, pizzas, and other oven-baked goods in an outdoor setting. Now we have Wick Stove. Wick stoves are made of a holding tank where you put fuel, usually kerosene, but they also burn diesel and lamp oil. The wicks draw the kerosene upwards towards a platform for holding a pot. These stoves are widespread in parts of the developing world, and you can sometimes find them in antique stores. The issue with wick stoves is that they use dirty fuels which don't burn completely. Never use one of these indoors. CO poisoning is a genuine risk. However, because kerosene is so cheap and they also work with diesel, it is a good backup emergency stove to have around. Last on the list are Hexamine Tablets. Known as Esbit, Hexamine Tablets are small and have a forever shelf life. A single tablet burns for about 15 minutes and will boil a liter of water in about 8 minutes. They supposedly are non-toxic and leave no ash. However, there is a lot of debate about how many harmful chemicals they release into the air. Thus, these are not something that you should ever use indoors. Also, note that Esbit tablets will leave residue on your cooking pots. So there you have it. 17 essential cooking methods to keep you fed when the lights go out. Remember, practice makes perfect. Try out these methods beforehand, familiarize yourself with the techniques, and build confidence in your abilities. Stay tuned for more insightful survival tips and tricks coming soon. And as always, stay prepared, stay safe, and never give up.